Okay, so you just want to improve at everything.
Yeah.
Alright. So, do you feel anything like you're lacking in something more than anything else?
I think my dribbling game needs to get fixed because I used to be pretty good at that, but I don't think I'm very good at that anymore at all, actually.
Okay.
And I'd like to improve my aerials as well.
Okay.
I'd like to not want to hesitate midair because, like, I don't feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm. But, do you feel like you could get better at, like, game sense and rotation, stuff like that? Or is it just mechanic-wise?
I think it's a lot of mechanics, really.
Okay.
I feel like game sense, like rotation and stuff like that, I'm fine with. It's gonna take a lot of repetition to get used to.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, the first thing when wanting to get better at mechanics is to just practice them a stupid amount of times, right? So when you want to get better at dribbling, usually just like free play, practicing flicks and ball control, and then aerials. Aerials is like kind of odd practice-wise. It's mainly like free play plays a big aspect in practicing anything, no matter what it is. But playing just a lot of ranked matches, not just like setting aside your care about wanting to rank up for like a little bit, that'll help you just get better overall, and then eventually you'll get your rank back and get even higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you're doing stuff.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
I just was
Yeah.
a little bit too slow to that.
Hmm.
Jumping up.
Yeah. Also, it's kind of odd, but just experience-wise, always want to make sure that you're you're clearing more with the tip of your car and less air rolling, because the meta's gone all over the place. A good portion of the meta now is boost starving and forcing your opponent to make mistakes and strictly counterattacking. It's not a lot of like kind of like a tennis match, how it sort of used to be. Always just picturing going for the ball, like, because some people will, for some reason, one way or the other, sometimes just go for or look at the players more than they would look at the ball. Yeah, that's good. You could also that was a good shot. It's a good way to read it. You could have read, there's a couple ways you could have read that bounce. You could have read that by following it much tighter and closer and trying to settle it on top of your car.
That's something I need to work on. I have a hard issue, or I have a hard time, like, following up the ball close by after, like, booming it, because I don't think, I can't seem to find the momentum to keep up with it.
Yeah. That's a good read. It does seem like your camera settings are fine. Obviously, camera settings are personalized.
Very personal, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
so I can't be like, oh, here's the meta for camera settings, or here's the best. And so it seems like you can read the ball pretty well off the wall, from what I can see. It's just getting that confidence to commit to it, I guess, is one way of putting it.
Yeah.
So one thing that helped me a lot is, especially when I was grinding out ones, was literally to just go for everything. Any ball that went up and I thought that I could get somewhat of a good clear or somewhat of a good touch on it, I would go for it.
Okay.
In that situation, it probably would have been better to just catch the ball with your car.
Okay.
Have you like tried to dabble in stuff like fakes or anything like that?
I used to be pretty good at faking, but I I haven't been able to really focus on it in a while because I don't have anybody to like back me up,
Yeah.
like in like a duos match or something. 'Cause I think it works a lot better in like a team setting if I can fake the shit out of two people and
Yeah.
knock them both or something. Yeah. I want to be back to being able to dribble the shit out of people.
Good redirect.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think maybe after this match I'll join the other team, and then after that we'll go into online matches, and then we can kind of practice there. Do you know how to fast aerial? Because that could be a mechanic that you could use.
I do. I just personally don't like doing it at
Oh,
all.
okay.
Yeah.
Is it just like not comfortable?
It feels really clunky with the way my controls are set up, and I'm afraid to change my controls because I have done it the same way since the game came out,
Yeah.
and I don't think I'd be able to adapt,
I
or
can
at least
understand.
very quickly. So if I did, it would have to be like now. We would have to, and we'd have to like restart. Basically, I'd have to be like from square one.
Yeah.
With the controls.
What's your like air roll and drift power slide button assigned to?
Drift is square.
Uh-huh.
And drift power slide is square, and air roll is R1 for both.
Okay. Yeah, I personally like keeping the air roll on one of the two bumpers.
Yep.
It's just way easier. I actually have it where both my air roll and my power slide are assigned to the same L1 button.
I tried that, but I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Couldn't get into it.
It's much more having to hold it down a lot more than before. Okay. I think in that situation you could have maybe slowed the pace down. One of the big things in the meta right now is being able to go from 0 to a shot in 0 seconds. Okay. So if you're able to see a ball coming down and you're just able to catch it and almost go to like where you're essentially just holding down R2 and just moving at normal speed instead of constantly boosting or trying to get a shot off as fast as possible. That also helps with dribbling against real opponents and not bots, because bots just go head first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oops.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think I dropped way too early. I think I could have actually done something with that if I went for it.
Either that, or you could have waited and started to rotate into shadow defense.
Yeah.
And shadow defense, that would obviously allow you to put them into the corner and into your advantage.
See, my first thought would have been to just ping it back to the other side of the net, because I'm so used to the tennis gameplay.
Yeah. Now it's
So I did not think of that as an idea to do.
Yeah. Good shot.
Thank you.
Able to read that situation. Yeah, it's the game has gotten a lot more fluid, like where you have to be able to very quickly switch in between offense and defense. And pinging is effective in threes more than twos right now. Twos is a lot more of almost, it's essentially at this point 1v1 versus 1v1.
Yeah.
And you kind of pass the ball to the other person's match, and it's kind of weird when saying it like that, but it makes sense on a more competitive level, where essentially if you pass the ball to the other person, they'll immediately have an opponent on them.
Yeah.
So it's almost, and if you think about it, like 2 1v1s together, where each team has to kind of give the ball to the other match, it's almost like, the best way to describe it is as a like basketball 1v1. There's 2 of them going on at the same time, but there's only one ball, and you have to find out a way to help your teammate out.
Yeah.
That's a good sign. And I hate just like going on tangents every now and then, but it's kind of like,
No, you're good.
it's kind of like having
I'm
to
a very
go,
good listener.
yeah, having to go across a bunch of different subjects. One huge, like, I think almost the most important part of Rocket League right now is the use of kickoffs. Kickoffs is probably the one thing that, if you are gonna take away something from this, it's kickoffs are the fundamental like keystone in twos, team gameplay, 1v1s.
Yeah.
Ow. Oh, that was a good shot.
Damn. Yeah,
Good
that wasn't bad.
Good shot. You made me think that you were gonna shoot much earlier than you did. Oh, good flick.
Thank you. It's coming back to me.
Yeah.
I'm able to sit down and focus on it.
And flicks are obviously one of those things where it's, at its core, it's just a flip. You're just double tapping X. But the accuracy and the way it rolls off the ball is so important, and like all of the factors and aspect that go into it. Oh, my AI didn't go back. There's something you shouldn't do in twos. Leave your goal wide open.
Yeah, I try to go back to goal as soon as possible. I don't know if you noticed that in the games that we were playing earlier today.
Yeah, I noticed that you kind of push back further than you could have, or further than you should have. One of the things that you
Think I should
can
be up a little bit more?
Yeah, it's kind of like aggressive goalie.
Okay.
Is
What should
how
I
I
have
play.
done there? 'Cause, I always get scored on from that.
So there's only 2 options. You can either contest super early to try and just challenge the ball, or you can pre-jump it. And pre-jumping is just a game of, it's just a really difficult game of prediction that I do sometimes. But like that kind of free jump, that's what you could have done in the corner. Yeah. It's like you're...
That was definitely something I did not think I could have done in that.
Pre-jumping is... It's a mechanic that no one talks about, because in a sense it's not a mechanic. It's just game sense of predicting the ball path.
Yeah.
But to be able to successfully predict the ball path, no matter the shot, it's probably one of, in my opinion, one of the best ways to deal with an aggressive player, or a player that likes to do a bunch of aerials like what I do. Being able to just pre-jump. And in that situation, the best thing to do is just to trap the ball with the back part of your car.
Okay.
If you're on the wall, you just have to reverse into the ball, and it stops the ball's momentum, and I'm not able to do anything.
All right.
That was garbage. So right now I'm doing shadow defense, and I'm forcing you in only one direction. You have to go to the center of my goal where I can speed up super quickly, and I'm able to make a save off it. Yeah, what you're doing there is the correct way to beat shadow defense. Just constantly moving that ball laterally along the field, so it makes the kind of illusion that you're about to like go 2 or 3 separate directions, and as someone who's on defense, I have to predict which direction you're about to go.
Yeah.
Oh my, that was a fast shot.
Yeah.
You can also implement, if you do choose to play ones, a good, not mechanic, more along game sense, is to just start hammering shots somewhat on target. Because most Rocket League players right now have gotten so much more aggressive, and they will go for any ball. There's hardly any, like, patient players like us who will literally just look at the ball and be like, what are you gonna do? So beating aggressive players, you can just take shots. It's called playing the ball around them, and it's exactly what I'm saying. You just put the ball around them. Because the more you put the ball around them, the more they have to work for a shot, and the more their goal is left open.
Yeah.
My AI is just...
I'm angry.
I want to see where you came from. Okay. Yeah, that's one of the trickier ones, because you were probably thinking that you didn't want to own goal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In that situation, it's really just kind of up to chance at that point, whether if you can or can't try and get a 50-50.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're gonna move on to doing some online matches. In this online match is to really just go for everything. If that ball is in the air, go for it. If you want to dribble it, dribble it. Don't just like think, oh, this is for the better of my team, I need to like pass it or ping it. Just whatever you want to do, go for it. Just be I'm gonna be a golf tee if you want to take it. Oh, you can go for that.
Yeah, I wish. No boost.
Just keep going for it. In that situation, I think you should have just tried to settle it.
Okay.
Instead of just not front flipping. Instead, really trying to consciously think, oh, I can go for like a dribble here, or I can catch the ball here. So one of the most common forms of rotation is back post. So say you're in this area, like right here, and the ball is on this side of the field. what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see where the ball is going, and either if you choose to commit to that ball early, I'm gonna swoop in maybe a bit more forward into this position, or if you're gonna stay in goal, I'm gonna come around back to this back post right here and kind of plant myself in this position.
Okay.
And in this position, I can go anywhere inside this goal. I can go into both corners, I can go into the middle, ground, high, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Another kind is literally just center, I'm just going to call it center of the goal, where you're rushing back and you're just trying to get into the goal, right? And a lot of this will, in the upper levels of play, will lead into that squishy save where you go off the top.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. That's not an effective saving method at all. I don't recommend it, unless you're going for clips. Yeah. Unless you're going for a clip, there's no real use to it unless it's an emergency and you just need to pop like that. But if you choose to go up there, you're essentially just dead weight. Someone going with the ball can just walk it in. And then there's a third type and the incorrect type where it's the same side rotation. Where if you're on that corner where I was demonstrating the back post, I'm going to come in over here, which throws off all rotation efforts, right?
Yeah.
And that just confuses. Unless you're going for a demo, there's no reason why you should be on this same side.
Okay.
And one of the key things that helps with team play is thinking of the field as having 9 quadrants.
Yep.
So you'll have, and they kind of correspond to the boost pads in like center of the field. So you should never be 2 quadrants away from your teammate, but you should never be in the same quadrant.
Okay.
So if I'm here, you have plenty of positions. You have all around here to work with that I can either pass to or you can back me up. And if I'm in the corner, yeah, and if I'm in the corner, you can either stay in goal, you can be in the center, or you can be a little bit ahead of me, like right here. So if I hit the ball up, you're up for a redirect, or you're up on the wall.
Okay.
Yeah. The best way to do flicks is usually with the longer cars. It just makes it easier for the ball to stay on. And you want to have the ball right at the almost like tip. Not tip, but on the front portion of your car, like how I'm dribbling it here. Yep. I let it go a bit forward so I can bring my tail end all the way around. And then you can get into some of the more kind of mind game kind of flicks, where it's, instead of doing a front flip just to score, I can back flip into the post, and if I'm far enough away, I can hit it back again. And that messes up people a lot. That really kind of forces them to either commit to it or try to guess what you're gonna do. And in that guessing game, the attacker is always gonna win.
Okay.
Because, like, if I'm here and the ball goes up, I can either go for it, right? And that leaves my whole goal open, or I can just wait here. But there is, you can try to challenge them. For delayed flicks where instead of immediately jumping, like how I see you do a lot of the times, so like you'll flick like that immediately, right? Instead, you can just, you have, I think it's roughly 2 point some seconds for your dodge, for your second dodge. I can just, I can wait it out. Also for dribbling, I saw you do this before, like just constantly bouncing the ball back and forth, bounce dribbling. Yeah. Which is super effective, honestly, in low ranks, because you can either slow it down or you can go ahead and take a shot, and that shot's going to have so much power that they can't react. Yeah. Or if you choose to dribble it, you can just go back and forth, and they probably won't know unless they're really experienced how that's going to work. So you have bounce dribbling, you have just like normal flicks with the, I guess, common dribble, we could say. And then you also have the dribbles that I don't think I've seen you use them, but you could correct me on that, where you're just keeping the ball on the ground. And the goal that you should have for if you fly like that is to make sure that your nose stays up. You don't want your nose to ever come down.
Okay.
That'll help you with car control. That'll help you understanding the space around you.
God.
Another drill that you can do to help you get that sense of like comfort back with your controls is to take the ball and each time you hit it, power slide and try to hit the ball again. Oh, there you go. That's a good shot.
That was really hard. My brain was like, L1!
You can use your power slide more, and as you're power sliding and boosting, that ball is just gonna stay on the side of your car like glue. So I think obviously I'm not that much of a professional. However, the main things that really help with just flat improving mechanics is really to grind in free play. Free play is, it sounds redundant because a lot of people will be like, oh yeah, just hit the ball against the wall in free play. I don't believe in doing that. That just sounds stupid to me and a waste of time.
Yeah.
What I do in free play is any mechanic that I want to learn, sometimes I won't even like look up a YouTube video for it. I'll literally just be like, okay, how do I want to go about doing this mechanic? And I'll solve it, like reverse solving a problem. Right, good job keeping it kind of more contained. Oh, that was a good shot into the corner. You were able to think I could dribble it instead of just taking a shot, and that's the good scenario for taking a shot. Already improving within what, 25-30 minutes. I also think that maybe your recovery mechanics may you may need to work on them a little bit, but overall your recovery seems pretty nice.
And I think it's because of the R1 to L1 switch.
Yeah.
I think once I'm more used to my arrow being on a different button,
yeah,
and my power slide.
There's a couple of tips for recovery in general. If you're ever on the wall or you land on the wall, you want to make sure that your car is pointing downwards, and that's simply because you want to maintain the same direction of acceleration.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I just hold on for a second. So if you watch me right now, I'm gonna go up against this wall, and if I recover like this is super slow, right?
Yeah.
However, I can in fact just go like that, and I immediately go down the wall. Yeah. So instead of having to just squeegee myself down, I can just easily air roll into the correct position. Now, if you want to, there's another recovery mechanic that you can use, and just general flipping mechanics that you can do called the speed flip.
Okay.
It's really, really odd. Okay. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna do a standard diagonal flip, right?
Yep.
And you understand the concept of half flipping?
Yeah.
Where you kind of like do a diagonal.
I don't do half flipping.
Really?
Yeah. I've never figured it out.
So all it is just a diagonal backflip, and while your car is backflipping, you immediately switch the left stick up. So the half flip is just simply doing a backflip with maybe like 1 or 2 degrees angled a different direction. I mean, like when you dodge, like do the backflip dodge, like that, right? And while you're doing that, you just immediately flick the left stick up. So let's take like a quick minute to do that. And then the speed flip takes that same principle or concept, and it translates that into a forward dodge. So, you know how the half flip is like that, right? So a speed flip is that same thing, but forward. So instead of, so it's a diagonal flip forward, and as soon as you flip forward, you immediately hold the left stick down. And what that does is it forces the nose of your car to aim down instead of your car having to flip all the way up and around. So that way you can boost while flipping. And you can replace a lot of back flips like that one that you just did with a half flip. Yeah, so I guess a visual would probably be good. So if you just look at my car right now, if you see the, like, as you see the ball rolling, right? Instead of just doing that, like, I could do that, but instead, I'd much rather gain possession of the ball. So I'm gonna half flip it, and I can immediately start boosting towards the ball. The main thing is to really be in free play. Free play is probably your #1 help when it comes to learning mechanics like dribbling, really good flicks, getting power off of shots and clears. Free play helps with that a good amount. Probably one of the best ways to improve in this game is to choose a mechanic that is so stupidly difficult you can't do it, and really work to doing it. So right now the mechanic that I'm learning is double touch flip resets.
Okay.
That's stupid. I'm never gonna do that in a game. However, if I can do them even just like once or twice in free play, I'll then have a better control over my car, and I'll have better control over how I look at the field and where I can put the ball on target to, say, hit a normal double touch. So there's 3 other training packs that are really good. You have Why You Suck Shadow Defense by Orange Pie.
Yep.
I'm just hovering over it while the screen is recording it, just so you can go back and look at it. You have Power Shots by Yiza, and that's obviously power shots and just going from one side of the field and getting an accurate solid shot on net.
Okay.
And then you have Super Defense by Brian for President, and that'll just help you strengthen up your defense a little.